want a pattern.
If I wrote you a song, if I got every word perfectly weighted on a thin piece of paper, would it make any difference? Would it change for the better? If I wrote you a poem, if I posted a letter? Is it maybe because I never knew quite where I was, and suddenly you told me, baby, you're lost, but I am too. Whatever the cost, we'll make it through. Tell me you're the one for me now, 'cause what am I supposed to do? If you are not the one for me, then tell me now what I could do. If I told you that I don't know where I'm going, don't know what to say, but I go without knowing. If I told you that I don't know what to believe in, don't know how to pray, but I pray anyway. Tell me you're the one for me now, 'cause what am I supposed to do? If you are not the one for me, then tell me now what I could do. Tell me you're the one for me now. I pray that you believe it too, that you're the only one for me, and I'm the only one for you.
Hello there, I'm back on my sofa and I'm just bobbing in to just have a little chat about the big split. Now, if you've already got to that point in your circular yoke that you're going to split for the body and the arms, this is just a few little notes which I will try to expand on next Friday. I actually haven't got to the big split yet. I've been working on my friend's cardigan. It's coming along very well, actually. I've done a bit of big splitting on that one as well, but that's for another tale. Anyway, so when you come to the big split, we all know where we've started from. We've started from our 90 stitches. Inches and stitches always get mixed up in my head, but I know what I'm talking about. But we've started at the 90 stitches at our neck, and then we get to the point where we get to the chest point, which we need, was it 315 stitches? Yeah, so 315 stitches. Now, if you know the measurement for your biceps, you're going to take off, say, in my case, I'm taking off 66 stitches on each side. So that's 132 stitches in total, isn't it? So I've done a little diagram. The diagram, again, is just half of one side, really. So you've got to the split. If you're using a 4.5mm needle, I would say 54 inches with 180 inches around the body. Am I doing the inches again? 54 stitches and 180 stitches around the body, and 54 stitches on the other side. So that's the kind of split of the numbers that I'm going to use for a 4.5mm needle. But going back to our 4mm analogy, you'd need 66 stitches to for your sleeves on each side. 203 stitches for a 4mm needle is what your body will be. Now, at this point in the construction of this yoke, you have been joining all the way down, haven't you? You've had your stitch marker where you start the new row. So this join could now be incorporated into the sleeve area. So I work from the join across the body. So I've got 203 stitches. I want to half it, don't I? So it's like 101.5. So let's say 102. So I knit across 102. Then I cast on 10 stitches for under the arm. I'll talk about that in a bit. So I cast on 10 stitches for under the arm and then knit back across the other 101 if you want to make it fit. Or just do 102 stitches to make 204. It's either here or there. But in between that point, I have put my 66 stitches onto a piece of coloured thread to hold them until later when I want to knit the sleeves. Then I've knitted across again, as I say, the 102 stitches, and I do exactly the same thing and cast on 10 stitches for that underarm and put the next 66 stitches onto a coloured thread. So you come back to the beginning again where your stitch marker is. So you've done a full row. So let's just do that, say that again, because this is, I want to make it more clear. So I've started at my join and I've gone across 102 stitches, which is literally a half of what I needed for my chest measurement. I cast on 10 stitches, then I put the next 66 stitches onto a coloured thread. Yeah. Then I join back into the work and knit the next 102 across. So the 102 and 102 make 204. You just one stitch out. And then I cast on another 10 stitches for the underarm. And then I put the next 66 stitches onto another piece of coloured thread, and I'm back to my join. And at this point, I could just start knitting all the way down. If I'm doing plain stocking stitch, fine. That is the point. That's the big split. You've added on 10 stitches for your underarm, and you've put your sleeves onto pieces of coloured thread, which you can go back to later, and then you knit downwards. You can shape it, you can just leave it straight, you could knit a dress, you could knit a top, you could knit a maxi dress from that point onwards. The thing about the 10 stitches under the arm is important, because if you've used your, shall we say, bare minimum measurement, like I would use a 40-inch measurement, when I add on the 10 stitches on either for the underarms, it brings me back to about 43 to 44 inches, which is my true chest measurement. So you've got a nice positive, you've got kind of a negative, slightly negative ease, or just nice fit, close fit. Those 10 stitches are useful because you can either decrease the amount to get a negative ease, or you can increase the amount to get an even more positive ease around your chest measurement, which is something to think about. Also, if you are using cables, lace patterns, Fair Isle, those 10 inches are useful because you will still need to fit all your pattern repeats into your chest measurement. Now, adding on 10 stitches on either side, that's 20 stitches in total, is maybe going to mess that up. So you will need to make sure that all your repeats fit into your, now, what would it be for me? 203 plus 20, 223 stitches. 223, 224 stitches now has to accommodate, say, a lace pattern or a Fair Isle pattern. So you'll need to make sure that all your stitches are going to fit your pattern. To keep it simple, I always have something like a 5-stitch pattern, which would go in there, or because it's got a 4 on the end or a 3 on the end, you would need to really either take a stitch off or put a stitch on somewhere better where the join is, I think, or under the arm. Under the arm is the best place to adjust your fit and adjust your pattern, because it's not going to be seen straight off. I always find those areas difficult, particularly when you're dealing with a fair owl pattern. If you're doing an all over fair owl pattern, you want it to match up with what you've done before, then you really have to sit and calculate the stitching. So yeah, I will go on more about that next week when I've got down at the yoke myself, and we'll go through it again in literal knitting. But yeah, that's something for you to think about and look at beforehand. On the topic of having a pattern, there's been quite a few requests for a pattern, so yes, I am considering doing that now. Yeah, I know I said I don't like doing patterns, but you know, sometimes you need to do it, don't you? When you're teaching a new way of calculating and designing your own fitted top, instead of just having patterns for size 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, or 10, 12, 14, 16, whatever you get a pattern in. When you knit for yourself, or in fact other people, then and you want to design a circular yoke, particularly to and out of an ordinary size that doesn't fit any other pattern, then this is the way that you can do it. And I think in the pattern that I produce, I will give you a kind of an indication of how I calculate things, how I calculate how much yarn I need, etc, etc. So that's going to take some time, so I'm sorry it's not going to come straight away, but I'm hoping by the last 3 videos that you will get an idea of how you can put something together. So I suppose really I'm going to say again, please look over episodes 36, 37 and 38, and then start review this particular video for the split, the big split, and we will talk about the big split again next week in full. And hopefully by then I might have got down the yoke myself, so I can actually do it on the blue jumper. I knew there was a lot of things I wanted to say today, but this is kind of a bit of a quicker video because I've already published one earlier on this week on Monday, episode 38. So I'm just really catching up on some of the elements I left off with then, because it's not always easy to just leave you in the air, so to speak. And I know what it feels like when I get to a certain stage and I'm ahead of myself and I want to get on with it, you know what I mean? Yeah, I expect you do. So very important, measure yourself, keep a record of all your measurements, look at your ball band for the tension swatch, keep to the tension swatch as best as you can. Calculate the amount of stitches you need for rows. yeah, the amount of stitches and rows you need for each inch, and then that helps you to calculate your chest measurements. Again, that was in 36, episode 36, and the length of your garments. Then in 37 you can start casting on for your neck, from your neck, and doing the first increase row and measuring your shoulder. That's episode 37. Then last episode 38 we talked about dividing the yoke between the neck and the chest and how we increase and where we increase. And then today we've just touched a bit on the big split, how we split the arms from the body. And that, once you've done that, the sky's the limit. You can do what you like with your design. You can have bell sleeves, straight sleeves, balloon sleeves, and then your body could be smocked. It could be A-line. You could have a nice shaped waist. You just may need only to do a nice straight up and down one. Make a dress. Make a tunic. Make a maxi dress if you're in the mood for that. Imagine, a lot of people like to knit their wedding dresses these days. There's a fly coming around here all the time. You could knit your wedding dress using the same principles of a simple round neck, top down, well, basically it's a long tunic, isn't it? You could do that using a lovely lace pattern. And if you're changing the wool, the yarn that you're using, the ply of it, say it was a 3/4 ply instead of a double knit, as long as you look at the ball band and see what the tension swatch is, you can fit that in with your measurements. But again, please look over 36, 37 and 38 before coming to this part and splitting for the chest and the biceps and the arm, well, the arms basically, the sleeves. So I hope that was a little help to you today. And as I say, I'll be back next Friday, all being well. I kind of think, what's next Friday? Today's the 1st when I'm recording this, so this is going up tonight. So I hope I can get it edited quick enough. And I hope you enjoyed my little introduction as well as how we got here, what I do as opposed to knitting. Knitting is, my knitting life in Orkney is not just knitting. I like to garden. I loved creating the wildflower border this year. That was really special. I also found out that wildflowers are good for grief. Did you know that? No, I didn't either. Not until I got home after I found out about Mum. And I was looking at all the beautiful flowers, and it was just like they were waiting there just to give me some solace. And I think to myself, whoa. So yeah, wildflowers are good for here. That's another one to remember. So if you see a lot of wildflowers across my channel, it's only because I'm sharing my good feelings from up here with you. My hopeful feelings. Yeah, that's it. It was not just that. It was for grief and for hope, I think, was the other one. Yeah, very good. So I do that, and I've shown you how I've built my greenhouse that got destroyed in a storm. how we installed solar power, because obviously it's mobile solar power. It's not fitted, so to speak, at all. It's just plugged into the battery with a couple of flat cables that go through the window, which you close your window on. So all you need to do is actually fit a frame outside to put your solar panels on, and make sure they don't move in the wind, which is one of our big issues, as you know. So I've done that, and also the rest of that video is coming out on Sunday, which is why I was trying to keep this one short. The rest of the installation of the solar panels is coming out on Sunday night. My summer in Orkney might be the weekend after, I'm not sure. I'm just spreading them out at the moment, because obviously this is takes up quite a bit of my time as well, doing the videoing, but I enjoy that. But I've actually filmed these some time ago. I'm just sort of spreading them about a bit. And then we'll get back to knitting, and I might just include little snippets of my life in the knitting podcast from that point forward. Again, summer is a busy time. So in summer, we had such big projects to do. It was nice to be able to do some separate videos, but it is quite confusing for some of my viewers, because they think, what's this? And I think that's half the battle, why some are leaving, because they're thinking, I came for a knitting podcast, not for gardening. Well, as I say, knitting is only a part of my life. And as I call myself, Sorcerer and Lilac, knitting life in Orkney. It's my life. And Orkney life is not much different to everywhere else. It's just that we live on an island, and that can have its issues to deal with, which can sometimes be interesting, particularly if somebody was thinking about moving up here. Although I don't give you that much. It's really just about me and my life, really. Yeah, so see you again next week, and keep knitting.